We have a great show lined up for you today on Retiring Well. Going to be talking about the tax implications of the 2023 Social Security Cost of Living Adjustment. Along with that, Annuities 101, need for life insurance, along with how to max out your 401k in 2023. So all this and much more coming up right now on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Let's talk about the most recent update to Social Security. If you're a Social Security recipient here in 2023, it's very possible that you received a letter from Social Security maybe about a month ago in late November or early December of 2022 called your awards letter. And upon review of that, you may have noticed a significant increase in your Social Security benefits. Social Security does have a cost of living adjustment, and the cost of living adjustment from 2022 to 2023 was 8.7%. Now, that is the highest annual cost of living adjustment that we've seen since 1981 for Social Security benefits. So that's great. You know, you're getting more benefits, hopefully a little bit of more relief from the inflation that we're seeing with different items. But you may be asking yourself, well, how is this going to impact my taxable income here? That's a good thought to have, because Social Security benefits can be taxed as income, and in fact that's nothing new. That's been the case since 1984, believe it or not, when the government passed laws basically causing Social Security benefits to be includable in federal taxable income under certain circumstances. Now, that amount in 1984 was a maximum of 50% of your total Social Security benefits. That was actually increased to a maximum of 85% of your benefit in 1993. So that's a situation that really hasn't changed a whole lot since then, and many retirees, many benefit recipients do actually include Social Security in their taxable income, and therefore have to pay federal income tax on that. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, how do I determine that? And the answer to that is a little more complex, at least mathematically. If you look at IRS publication 915, there is a little worksheet in there to determine the taxable portion of your Social Security, and believe it or not, it is a 19-step worksheet that you'd actually have to go through to determine the taxable portion of that Social Security benefit. Now, the short and quick and dirty method to that is if you file jointly and half of your Social Security plus your other income from IRAs, pensions, investments, what have you, is over $32,000, then half of that Social Security benefit is going to be taxed as income. If you exceed $44,000, that's where you're going to hit that high level, or the highest level of 85% of the benefits will be included in taxable income there for you. So it's a situation where basically it's dependent on your income in terms of how much of those benefits are taxed. Most states do not tax Social Security benefits. There are 12 that do. Michigan, fortunately, is not one of them. So in the context of your long-term planning and your retirement situation, consider that cost of living increase in your Social Security as something that may impact your taxable income, and always a good idea to discuss that information with a tax planning advisor for further questions there.
Hey, I don't know if you've ever tried to put together a 1,000-piece puzzle, and I don't know if you've ever tried to then do a 1,000-piece puzzle without the box. That's kind of like tax planning. You know, I challenge anybody that comes in to start putting their puzzle, their tax puzzle together. And one thing that is really helpful in putting your tax puzzle together is to figure out which bracket are you going to be in, what is your taxable value at the end of the year, and how much room do you have left. You know, what we're seeing with an 8.7% Social Security COLA improvement in people's Social Security coming for 2023, that's changing their tax situation. That's impacting their marginal taxes. And if you look at how Social Security is taxed and the different thresholds that it gets taxed at, those are all really important puzzle pieces for you to figure out and then to be able to look at. What we find is a lot of people don't know where to even start. They don't have the box, they don't have the time and the energy or want to do that. Well, that's why we're here, and that's honestly what makes our job fun, is we get to use the team here at Centennial Wealth Advisory to figure out tough tax situations and try to be as tax efficient as possible, for our clients. Nick, I know that you have some clients that you are working with in their tax situations and looking for opportunities to be efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. The big one is often Roth conversions. And the question is, okay, well, now that I have this 8.7% bump on my Social Security, how is that going to affect the amount that I can convert annually to Roth? And it's a great question. Obviously, if you're making more money with Social Security, you're not going to be able to convert as much to a Roth account. But typically, here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, because income does fluctuate from time to time in retirement, we're going to wait until the end of the year anyway to make those larger Roth conversions. And so that's a great time where we're planning for this. We have a tax team behind the scenes that'll do up a spreadsheet that'll show you, okay, it's in your best interest to convert this amount based on this increase in Social Security and the various other income sources that you have. So it's a great practice to make sure that you're not only sitting down with an advisor, but also a tax advisor looking at all the pieces of the puzzle and putting them together for you. All right, well, stay tuned. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about, actually, Jack, what are we going to be talking about?
Hey, you don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking about Annuities 101 and the need for life insurance.
Your grandchildren are precious to you. They are your life. This is your time to have that special relationship. Taking care of yourself is taking care of them. Centennial Wealth Advisory is offering a free, no-obligation retirement review to make sure you don't run out of money during your retirement. Centennial Wealth Advisory. Your best is yet to come.
At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we take a holistic approach to your retirement planning. So it's not just looking at what your investments are, but what is that long-term income plan for the next 30, 40 years of your retirement? What about taxes and what role they play in your retirement plan? Estate planning, what about life insurance, health insurance planning, all key areas to consider when looking at your retirement. So please visit our website or call the number on the screen. We'd love the opportunity to sit down with you for a no-cost, no-obligation visit.
Annuities 101. Now, I know a lot of you, when you hear the word annuity, you kind of cringe. Well, don't go turning the channel on me right now, because we're just going to talk about and kind of educate you on all things annuities. So there's lots of different annuity products out there, probably thousands, with hundreds of different companies. But when you look at each and every one, they all boil down to 4 different types, okay? And those types are variable annuities, immediate annuities, fixed indexed annuities, and then fixed annuities. So let's go through each one, just talk about the pros and cons and maybe how they operate, okay? So variable annuities. These ones probably have given the insurance company or the annuity space the worst rap or the worst reputation, because oftentimes they're very complex and confusing. But quite simply, how they operate is you invest in sub-accounts within these various variable annuities, and they're tied to different mutual funds. So they go up and down with the market. Now, typically they also do have some substantial fees that are associated with them, and then you can add different riders that also increase the cost of those annuity products. And so that's why you want to make sure that if you have a variable annuity or you're thinking about getting a variable annuity, you understand those costs that are associated with them. The next one is called an immediate annuity. Basically, these are great for people who they don't have a pension and they want that peace of mind that comes from a guaranteed monthly income stream for the rest of their life. How they work, you give the insurance company a lump sum of money and immediately they pay you an income stream for the rest of your life. Drawbacks are, well, sometimes they don't quite keep up with inflation, right? Because 20 years from now, that $1,000 a month that you're getting right now might not be the same come 20 years from now, right? If bread and milk are costing more. But it does work for a lot of people because it offers that peace of mind. Then we've got fixed index annuities. These ones, there's usually zero cost with these unless you add some sort of rider to them. But they offer you some participation in the market and then principal protection. So like the best one on the market right now gives you 9% of the up of the S&P 500. So over a year, if the S&P is up higher than 9%, well, you're only going to make 9% on that product. But let's say, like we had a year last year where the market was down. Well, in a fixed index annuity, you wouldn't make any money for that year, but you also wouldn't lose any money that year as well. And then the last one, which is the most simple of all the annuity products in my mind that's out there, is called a fixed annuity. Essentially what it is that's a CD with an insurance company. So for a period of time, whether it's 3, 5, 7 years, whatever it might be, you have to leave your money there with the insurance company and they pay you a flat rate. Best one on the market right now is a 3-year that pays 5.35%. No other moving parts. There's no fees associated with it. However, if you said, hey, I want my money back in that 3-year time period, there would be a surrender penalty for that. So obviously lots of different annuity products out there. Make sure if you have any questions on your annuities, please don't hesitate to reach out, give us a call. We love to just educate you on all things that are annuities.
If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
So Art Canfield and I grew up in Traverse City here together, about a mile down the road from each other.
John and I have been best buddies since we were in kindergarten.
Met each other in kindergarten at Glen Loomis Elementary.
I still remember one of the earliest memories of John and I connecting way back in our kindergarten class.
We always would have sort of a business mindset when we were trading our basketball cards and football cards of, okay, what's the value of this versus that?
We had all these dreams of playing in the NFL together.
He was the center on the football team. I was the quarterback.
I've been protecting him my whole life, you know, and so now we get to do it in the business world.
With a low bass, here for the thrill, I don't need a chaser. Wanna vibe it to get away. Shimmy, shimmy,
each of us stood up in each other's weddings, and now we've enjoyed seeing our families grow together and spend time together.
Working with John and Art is awesome. The camaraderie that they have, the banter that you hear on a day-to-day basis is just, it's so much fun.
They're very authentic. These people are in it for the right reasons, and they're really genuinely doing what they can to help people. That, to me, makes all the difference, that I can feel good about the work that I do working with them.
Who they are as people, their values, they truly want to help people. That kind of permeates through the whole culture of our office.
Being so similar but different in certain ways is such an asset, not only for our team, but also for our clients, to be able to have, I think, our experience in valuing relationships so importantly.
Something that's so vital within business is having that trusting relationship. As Art and I have had that trust built over the past 35 plus years now, so we have that confidence knowing that if I'm not there to make a decision, you've got a business partner that you trust implicitly to make those decisions and not question at all what direction that he's going with it or the business is going. So it's just been sort of a dream to be able to work alongside your best friend. Let's talk about the need for life insurance. So there's going to be different phases of life, and along with that comes different potential life insurance plans that you may find appropriate. So again, we're talking specifically about life insurance and planning. So with that, you know, when you're starting off, maybe you had a young family, married, maybe had children, might have major costs like a mortgage. You may be looking at for your children like future college expenses. So this is where typically you're looking for the lowest cost type of insurance with some type of term associated with it. So obviously there you're looking at a term life insurance policy, where again it's maybe a higher death benefit and a low cost. As you move on through life, you may be looking at, well, what about some type of cash value life insurance where you've put in some additional funds into that, and then if needed, you could always draw those cash value funds out. But you want to be careful with this. I've come across too often where people may have said, oh, my parents set up some type of whole life policy way back in the day, and I've just sort of let it go. Well, with that, you sometimes will find where the cash value gets eaten up by the costs of insurance, and potentially if you're not paying attention, then that policy may lapse. So again, something to be paying attention to. Later in life, you may be looking at maybe something more of like a permanent type of policy, something that you want to be there for the remainder of your lifetime. So that's where sometimes you may be considering like a guaranteed universal life insurance where you have set premiums and a set death benefit. So there's no moving parts. You're not going to get surprised by any rising insurance costs. And you want to look at in those different scenarios how you're going to fund the life insurance policy. Is it something where you want to have premium payments for the rest of your lifetime? Or perhaps you may want to pay that over a period of years where maybe even it's leading up prior to retirement. You could pay, when you have maybe additional cash flow, you could pay those premiums and then upon retirement not have any further premiums. So again, another way to be looking at it. And lastly, in retirement, you may have a desire to have like an accelerated chronic illness rider, which is essentially access to the death benefit in case of a long-term care situation. So there's different policies out there today that can be used for that purpose. And the last one that I can think of is mainly like a burial type of insurance coverage where you're essentially just covering those last costs that you may have. So again, a lot of different areas to consider. If you have questions about that, we welcome you to give us a call.
Hey, two great segments, Annuities 101 and the need for life insurance. When I looked at those segments, I thought, hey, those are two different ways that you can actually help make your money behave a certain way. And when clients come in, you know, one of the things that we at Centennial Wealth Advisory are trying to really figure out is how do they want their money to behave? And we might get the answer of like, hey, I want to maximize my legacy. I want portfolio optimization. I have never money. And we'll say, okay, there are products that can help your money behave that way. Or I'll have clients that will come in and they'll say, listen, I am so tired of the market risk. I need some no market risk opportunities. And so, hey, we have some products to help your money behave that way. And being independent and being able to search across the country for the best insurance companies with the best products is really helpful to our clients. And so as we explain that behavior and really try to dial that down, a lot of times we end up at annuities. And whenever I say the word annuity, I'm always looking closely at what their reaction is. There are so many different types of annuities out there. There's good ones and there's bad ones. There's ones that serve the purpose and there's ones that do not. And so here at Centennial, we are very picky about them, and you should be too. You should do a lot of education on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and then make sure that lines up with the product that you might be getting. Nick, I know you have some specific examples maybe that you've run across with how we might use annuities.
Yeah, I think the big one for a lot of our clients in that they're mostly retired is they want that principal protection. But like with every investment tool, you gain something, you also lose something. And with these annuity products that are out there, at least some of them, when you get the principal protection, what you're giving up is the higher rate of return. And so for our clients, they like that principal protection, but they don't want their money just sitting in a savings account, right? So they use these annuity products to get a better rate of return while still keeping their money or their principal free from market risk, but getting that better return than what they would have had in a savings account. Now, obviously, there's different rules associated with those annuity products where you can't touch the money for a certain period of time, but typically we're not putting all your assets into these different annuity products anyway, so it frees up that liquidity. All right, well, if you have any questions on those annuity products, please don't hesitate to give us a call on the number on the screen. And stay tuned, coming up next, we're going to be talking about how to max out your 401k in 2023.
Living life isn't always easy. It puts up challenges and obstacles you'll have to overcome. There are responsibilities. You put in effort to provide and take care of your family, to save and invest, to balance work and life. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From investments and insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
As we head into the new year here, 2023, I want to talk a little bit about those folks that are still working and contributing to a 401k. Maxing out that 401k. What are the limits and what are some of the things to think about when doing that? So for 2023, if you're looking to finish strong, heading into retirement and save the most you can, if you're younger than the age of 50, you're at about $22,500 you can put in of your own money. If you're 50 and older, that number jumps up to $30,000. So that doesn't include employer match. If your company does that, that's your own money putting in. What are the benefits you get from that today? Well, tax deferral if it's a traditional 401k, pre-tax 401k, meaning that whatever tax bracket you're in, if you're deferring and making those contributions in, you're not paying income tax on that today. So as an example, just simple math here, let's say you put in that $22,500 and you were in the 24% tax bracket. All things. Now, there could be other situations that may make this different for your consultant tax professional, but let's just keep it simple for this illustration. $22,500 at 24%, that's a savings of $5,400 in federal income tax that you would not have to pay this year. Now, keep in mind that when you take that money out further on in retirement, you'll pay income tax out at that time, but there's immediate benefit of that right now of getting that tax deferral. What are the benefits long term? Well, you have a larger dollar amount, right? You're putting more into your plan, hopefully allowing you to purchase more of whatever investment you're investing in, and therefore giving you more growth potential to give you to hopefully set up a bigger income stream in your retirement or bigger nest egg for you down the road. Now, most contributions, something to think about here as we're going into the new year, most contributions are automatically withheld, meaning you have probably some online system commonly now where you select a percentage of your pay that's coming out. So you kind of have to back engineer this and figure out, if you're trying to max this out, what percentage of your pay do you want going in? Now factor in raises and such like that as that. So again, making sure you're adjusting that every year so you're trying to hit your marks and having those goals out there. Now, is maxing out your 401k for everybody? Not necessarily. Consider your other financial goals. Let's say you're somebody that maybe has a significant amount of debt out there, and maybe that debt is high interest bearing, maybe like credit card debt or something like that, where you're paying 20+% interest on that. It may make more sense to try to go after that debt versus doing that. So that's why it's important to consult a professional to have a plan so all these things are working together so you can do this. Again, none of this, as I mentioned earlier, is factoring in employee contributions. Take advantage of that, folks. That's basically free money. If your employer is saying, we're going to match X% of what you're putting in, making sure you're doing that so you have the ability to get that advantage with not only your money, but then their money working for you as well. So again, if you're somebody in this situation, give us a call. We'd love to walk through this with you and help you with a no cost, no obligations financial review.
How to max out your 401k in 2023. Obviously, there's lots of different ways to do that, but mostly it involves putting more money away, right? Saving more money. But how do you do that? I actually had one case in Gaylord where a couple came in and the gentleman had a 401k. And he was asking how to save more, and I asked him, well, what is your employer match in that 401k? And he said it was 7%, which is like the highest that I've ever come across. But he said that he was only contributing 4%. And I was like, well, why, right? I mean, if you want to max out that 401k, you at least need to be starting by matching what your employer is going to match, because that's free money. So he was giving up a 3% match on his employer money by not maxing out that employer match. So that's the first thing that I would look at there. And then find money in other places, right, Jack?
One of the things that we get to do is, and it's pretty interesting being, now that I'm 40 years old, you get to meet with people that are older and have different experiences in life. And one of the questions I ask often is, if you could go back, what would you change? And almost always, when it comes to the tax situation, people will say, I wish I would have become more tax diversified earlier. And there's been a recent change in a lot of these employer-sponsored 401k plans where they're starting to introduce the Roth 401k. In fact, you can start at a much earlier age becoming tax diversified so that you don't have such the potential for a huge tax bomb in retirement. At age 72, when the required minimum distributions are forcing you out of those accounts, what does your tax situation look like then? And so with the new introduction of these Roth 401ks, you can put money into the Roth portion of them. Your employer, will still do the match. And now not only does the match go into the 401k and your contributions go into the Roth 401k, you can see easily how you're becoming tax diversified while not giving up that free money. So if you have any questions, if you're sitting there and you're not sure what you have and you want some help, please feel free to call us anytime. Free, no obligation way to learn. Thank you for watching the show this week. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you next week, same time, same station.